So I did a reaction to this, a reaction to the trailer for this movie a few weeks ago. I don't know exactly when, but it's been a little while, and it's a Netflix movie. So I was finally able to check it out. It took me a little bit to get around to it, and actually the first time I saw it, I watched it in parts. I watched like half of it the first night, and then it was maybe like a week later I finished watching it. So then I went back, I think maybe the next day. I think I finished watching it the night before last. And so then last night when I was working, I had it playing again just to sort of have on, and I wasn't really paying complete attention to it again the second time. But I was noticing things that not necessarily that I missed, but things that made sense to me the second time around. Not that it didn't make sense to me, but I didn't understand the meaning of it the first time I saw it. So, this movie, well, you already get the sense of this from watching the trailers. So there's not really any spoilers or, mini spoilers. I'm going to try not to get into big spoilers, but through the course of my thoughts, some stuff will come out, but I don't think it's anything that you wouldn't have noticed in the trailer for the most part. So this movie stars, I had to write down this guy's name because I never remember him. It stars Boyd Holbrook, and I only really know him from Logan. I did see the Predator movie that he was in, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. It was just playing, and I vaguely remember that he was in it. And for some reason, I thought he was in, there goes Chibi. She was doing this before I started recording, and she decided to make her presence known while the camera's going. Anyway, I always thought he was an Aussie. For some reason, I don't know why, but he's not. He's an American. And it also stars Cleopatra Coleman. I think she is Australian. I think. I've never seen her in anything, or if I have, I just didn't notice, pay attention to her as an actress or, actor in whatever it was I may have seen her in before. And then it also starred Michael C. Hall, which I'll be honest, Michael C. Hall was the main reason that I was even interested to check out the trailer. And then once I saw the trailer, I was interested to watch the movie just because the subject matter. Now, it pretty much explains in the trailer that the subject matter is involving some time travel. So it starts off, Boyd is a cop, and there is this person going around they're finding these people with their brains basically liquefied, and they all have these 3 holes in the back of their neck. And he pieces together that this mysterious girl in this blue coat with a hood is connected with this. She's involved with the murders, and he tracks her down. They have an altercation in the subway, and she ends up getting killed. And this starts off in 1988. So then, 9 years later, she shows up again, the exact same day, because it's also the date that all this stuff happens. It's the day of his daughter's birth. And so 9 years later, on his daughter's birthday, these killings start happening again, and he sees her again. And he's wondering what the heck is going on. When she died in 88, they had her body and everything. She had a gunshot wound in her hand or something like that. And, she was dead. She was gone. But here she is again, 9 years later. So basically this story, I just want to sort of, not really warn, but just give you guys a heads up that this story is not really focused on, there goes I knew it was getting ready to do that. It's not so much focused on action and time travel tech and all that sort of stuff. It's not really heavy on that. It's more, as you watch it, and now that I've had time to sort of process it in my head a little bit and rewatch it, you see that it's really, yes, there are elements of mystery. He's trying to figure out what is the connection between this girl and all these people that are dying? What's the connection with all these people that are dying? What the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? Why did she come back again? How is she still alive? What's the deal? And so, as the movie progresses, he becomes obsessed with solving this mystery for his own personal reasons. And you can see the effect that this obsession he has with this case is having on his family and on seemingly his mental health. He is driven by what I believe, what I gathered is it's like it's sort of, to me, it's kind of a metaphor for people who are stuck in the past, trying to, fix things from the past, but of course they can't be fixed. But you can become so obsessed over these things from the past that are still haunting you that they can drive a big wedge between yourself and your loved ones. That's what I was picking up on this movie. So I don't want to give too much away. There is a twist at the end that sort of turns everything on its head, and things become clear to him. And that happens, right at the very end. I guess that's sort of like what you would call the climax. It's not really much of a huge climax with regard to, there's all this fighting going on and there's all this, action, and is doing this and this and this, and he's fighting this and this and this. It's really not a huge amount of that stuff going on. And so what happens right before this discovery that he makes is some action stuff going on, some people he's in, like battling or fighting, whatever. But to me, that's not really the climax. The climax is when he finds out what he finds out. That's the turning point for him personally. And so I liked the twist that they did. I thought it was pretty cool, interesting. I really enjoy time travel stuff. So I like this film. It's not the best time travel thing of it. It's not like the most awe-inspiring time travel thing I've seen, but I still enjoyed it. And I do recommend it to anybody that enjoys time travel. Just don't go in expecting it to be like a Terminator type movie, with a bunch of action and stuff. Go into it with the expectation, like with Joker, that's a character drama. Go into it with the expectation of that. It's a character drama about this man and, his life through the decades, because it does take place across a few decades. If there is any real main complaint that I have about this movie, it would just be, and it's kind of a trivial one, but still, makeup is everything, you guys. So Michael C. Hall, when his character's 20 years older, he looks exactly the same as he did 20 years before. Now, I know some people can age really well, but it's just not possible that he would look exactly the same. Now, they aged him, they gave him a beard, he looks a little bit more scruffy. But Michael C. Hall's character didn't start showing his age until the very, very end of the film, which I think is supposed to be, it's maybe 30, like almost 30 years later. And finally, you see that he sort of looks his age. But that was just one of the main things that I was like, oh, wait a second, these people, they don't look their age, and it's like 20 years later. I'm sorry, I don't know. And the makeup job that they did on him, not really the best aging work I've seen done. But that aside, it was still pretty enjoyable to watch, and I did go in sort of expecting it was going to be more action-packed, but after I've watched it a second time, or at the end of the towards the end of the first viewing, I was like, oh, this is what happened, and okay, that's interesting. Gives me some things to think about, and then I rewatch it again, and I'm like, yeah, I think I probably liked it a little bit more the second time around, even though I wasn't paying complete attention to it the second viewing, but still. Basically, all this to say that I do. Sorry, I've got something I got to do. I do recommend people watch it at least once if you're a time travel fan. You know, like I said, it's pretty enjoyable. I've checked out the ratings for this, and it is sort of has like a little bit more than so ratings. Like I think it's 60 something, or 6 point whatever out of 10. I think I would rate it a little bit higher than that. If I had to put a number on it, I'd put it at maybe like a 7, because I did like it. I did enjoy it, and typically for me, like a 5 or a 6 are things that it's okay, but it's kind of blah. And I didn't feel that way about this. I think it was fairly well done. The acting was good. Boyd did a really good job. Cleopatra, you don't really see her a whole lot, but she was good in the parts that we did see. Michael C. Hall was, he was fairly solid, but the thing about his acting in here that I noticed, whatever accent he was trying to affect, I couldn't quite tell what it was. It was, where did this take place? Was it Philadelphia, maybe? Maybe somewhere in Pennsylvania. Anyway, the accent that he was using was different. Like, it wasn't quite Southern, but it wasn't quite Northern either. It was unique, and that did stand out to me when I heard him talk. I kind of feel like maybe it wouldn't have been so glaring if he just talked in his normal accent, because the main guy in here, I think he talked with. I did not pick up any sort of accent type thing going on with him. It just sounded like a neutral accent to me. But maybe if it wasn't really a neutral accent, maybe I didn't notice it because I was noticing Michael's so much, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just so used to the normal way he talks, his normal accent, his normal voice, that it kind of threw me a little bit when I heard him in here. But, he was okay. He was basically a supporting character. He wasn't a huge part of this. He does, you see him several times throughout the film, but the main focus is Boyd's character and his journey through the decades as he's trying to figure out the secret behind this mysterious girl and the secret behind these deaths. And he realizes early on that there's some sort of time travel aspect to it, but of course everybody else thinks he's crazy. And obviously Michael C. Hall's character does. Michael C. Hall plays his brother-in-law, and he clearly thinks he's nuts. He's just completely lost it, and he thinks it's just because of this obsession that's driving him. He's just lost his mind. But anyway, yeah, it was a fun film, and I would recommend it. And if any of you guys have a chance to check it out, let me know what you think about it. I'm curious. I like to talk about it with you guys. I know my brother was going to watch it, and he wanted me to let him know how it was. So I think that, so maybe this review will serve as my notice to him as to what I think about it. I'll let him know I put the review up. He can come check it out, and we can talk about it. So anyway, okay, well, that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. I've got mucho to do today. We're going to be going out of town, so I got a lot of stuff I got to do. But I wanted to get this done before we left. Anyway, okay, that is it for this, you guys. Hasta luego.